teams would step to the head of the class. In the AFC, the new-look Steelers took their shots at old guard Buffalo, which wasn't so eager to yield the top spot. Yielding the top spot in Philly, Randall watched as Jimmy Mack led the Eagles. And for the first time in a while, the Birds flew like it was September all over again. Defense took center stage in Kansas City, where the Chiefs ran smack into the lightning bolts. In Tampa, where the Vikings ran over the Bucs. And in New York, where one of the greatest ever may have played his final game. Home sweet home for Denver. John Elway throwing mile-high rainbows. The NFL flips into the second half of the season next on Primetime. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to Week 10 of NFL Primetime, steamrolling into the second half of the NFL season. And we certainly could not steamroll alone, now could we? Tom Jackson, Robin Roberts are here, as always, to tell you what we saw. ESPN's Little Lifter, Sunday Night Football. Now to the end of the regular season, the Bears off their Monday night hangover against the Vikings. Could they rebound at home against the Cincinnati Bengals at venerable Soldier Field in Chicago? Let's pick it up with the second half kickoff. Darren Lewis, this diamond ring shines for him. And guess what? He just, yeah, you know it's coming, he just could go all the way. 98 yards, the Bears in control, 28-14. Last play of the third quarter. Boomer, no, not me, Boomer Esiason. 2-yard touchdown pass to Craig Thompson. The obligatory Soldier Field sod shot, 28-21 Bears. Minute to go, fourth down. Bengals, the Bear 23. They've been working on this play all year. It's not Chris Collinsworth. He can't jump this high. But Carl Pickett's number 80 certainly can. And we're tied at 28. Looking to make the jump for David Shula's Bengals over Lemuel Stinson. In overtime, after Butler missed an over 50-yarder at the end of the game in regulation, Jim steps into the breach. 12 years ago, we beat the Bears with a field goal. This 35-yarder, and the Bengals beat the Bears 31-28. Second overtime winner that Breach has had this year. Remember, he beat the Raiders earlier. That's way back in September. Of course, Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann called the game for us, and Joe is still at Soldier Field. And Joe, I mean, I think this win speaks volumes of the toughness of the Cincinnati Bengals, especially a team that once upon a time had lost 5 straight. They showed some heart tonight.
Absolutely, Chris. And, you know, the interesting thing about it is the Bengals, if you'll remember before the Cleveland game, they decided to go back into the huddle to try and give that offensive line a chance to really understand what their blocking assignments were. The toughness comes from running the football. That's what the Bengals did the second half. The Bears had a chance to put them away all through the first half. Kept them alive, went in at halftime 21-7. Turns around the second half. Didn't give the Bears an opportunity to keep the football much. Wore down that Bear defense. That young offensive line to the Bengals really stood up and accepted the challenge.
Well, Joe, you mentioned the running. Harold Green, 25 carries, 117 yards. The Bears, though, fourth quarter collapse again. What's going on here?
You know, Chris, you're asking, I'm asking, but I think the biggest guys that are asking right now are the Chicago Bears. What happens when you start to get a trend like that, they're going to get into the next game. They're going to get to the fourth quarter again. I don't care what the score is. They're going to start expecting bad things to happen. And when you're a football team and you expect bad things to happen, they pretty much will. They got to get out of this in a hurry.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. Some of your closest friends are still there. I see one guy cleaning up some papers back there.
In the back, yeah, in the back.
We'll see you next week. Hope you have as close a game and good a game as you did this evening.
Thanks, pal.
All right, my man. Our next game, Mile High Stadium, which always brings out the best in John Elway and the Denver Broncos. That's the Giants, the resurgent Giants at 5-4. The 6-3 Broncos, 8 Eastern time, in your face. Week 10 in the NFL season. Could it be the final time we'll ever see Lawrence Taylor on the football field? Let's hope not. But an injury suffered by him today by the Giants game against the Green Bay Packers will show you exactly what happened and have doctor's diagnosis. Still to come, all the highlights in a rollicking Week 10 where the big guys look awfully big, except occasionally Dan Marino showed that he indeed is human. Stay with us, please.
Tonight's analysis is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance.
The Acura Legend was ranked best overall model at 3 years ownership in the J.D. Power and Associates Vehicle Performance Study. In other research, the Legend also retained more value than any car in its class, while costing less than its competitors. All of which raises the question, why outspend your neighbors when you can outsmart them instead?
What makes a mountain man a mountain man? Let's find out. Must a mountain man be a big burly guy with an axe? A man of steel? Must a mountain man even be a man? Actually, the only requirement is the right beer. Smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and learn what makes the typical mountain man anything but.
What we need now is the beach.
And the fruit. And the thing.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
Now save 25% on selected Goodyear all-season radios for cars and light trucks. Save 25% on Invicta GS. Save 25% on Wrangler AT and HT. That's right, save 25%. Where? Goodyear. When? Now.
Every month, enter the world of fine interior design. Enter the fascinating world of Architectural Digest. View a pied-à-terre in Paris and an English designer's bright and airy London home. Call now and get 12 issues of Architectural Digest for only $29.95. You'll also receive absolutely free Celebrity Homes Revisited, a tour that includes the homes of Jeffrey Bean, Pavarotti, and Cher.
Call toll-free 800-544-1000. That's 800-544-1000.
NFL Primetime is brought to you by Dollar Rent-A-Car and your local travel agent. And by Anheuser-Busch, who proudly brings you Family Talk. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts.
The Miami Dolphins' run at an undefeated season was preempted, if you will, by Steve Entman and the Indianapolis Colts. Today, it was Miami's turn to see if they could return the favor. So we go to the Hoosier Dome. And it was Keith Jackson and Mark Higgs, the factors today for the Dolphins. Higgs, on a normally dormant Dolphin running game, goes for 7 yards. Dan Marino dumps it to Mark Higgs, makes a nice move here, and picks up 19. On the same drive, the pitch by Higgs, good blocking on the left side. That's where the Dolphins like to go, 13 yards. Tom?
Yeah, the Dolphins' offensive line surge, moving left. If you watch right guard Harry Galbraith, he takes out Tony McCoy. Higgs able to see the cutback lane right there, get upfield, make a little something on his own at the end.
In the same drive, oh, let me tell you about Keith Jackson. Nice bullet by Dan Marino, 2-yard touchdown, 7-0 Miami. Next drive for the Dolphins. Marino, oh, he tells him again about Keith Jackson. Oh, nearly 17 yards. Then, Mark Higgs goes right this time. Good blocking. Page with a key block, 24 yards. Same drive. Higgs, roughly touchdown. 2 yards, 14-0 Dolphins. Mark Higgs today, 20 carries, $107 rushing, and you see 147 total yards. Steve Entman double-teamed early. His knee buckles on the turf. Looks bad, but fortunately only a strained knee ligament on his left knee. Second quarter, Jeff George, well, he wasn't on the same page as receivers. What? Billy Brooks in and out, he did it in. So enter Ron Stark, that famed passing combination of Ron Stark to Mike Pryor. And the trickery gets rewarded with a first down.
Yeah, coaches always preach downfield blocking. Here you see a good block by Matt Vanderbeek, allowing Pryor to get the first down.
So Jeff George is fired up? No. Jeff George was all fired up? No. Bestie Jackson with the interception. Hey, the Colts are getting better. But the last 2 weeks, they've been shut out twice. This time, Marchibroda and George could only take their hats off to the Miami Dolphins. Shut out the Colts by the count of 28-0. Third time the Colts have been shut out this year. Marino, 22 of 28 for 245 yards. The Dolphins up their mark to 7-2. Meanwhile, after their close loss on the road last week at Pittsburgh, Houston obviously going to fatten up on Bill Belichick's Cleveland Browns at the Houston Astrodome. Warren Moon, this is the kind of day he was faced with all day, but good job here running Unfortunately for the Oilers in the first half, that was about as good as it got offensively. 55 yards in the first half. Meanwhile, Mike Tomczak looked like the second coming of Otto Graham, Tom.
Yeah, you watched him on the play pass during the course of the day. He had a lot of time to look around, search up people, and throw the football, Chris.
Here's Metcalf. And then Tomczak to Metcalf again. And then the play action to the big guy, Leroy Horde. The only guy that gets up, Leroy Horde. Dan White. Unfortunately, he too plays for the Browns. Second quarter, Tomczak, play action. Pump fake. Look at Leroy Horde. Nice tackle. Not by Jerry Gray. Touchdown, 46 yards. Hard to stop that big guy.
Yeah, and you saw the end of that play. You watched the first part of the play. This is what makes it right there. The pump fake, pulls the safety off. No help.
Warren Moon left last week with a concussion. Certainly had problems. First down, no. Second down, a bomb. The running today. Third down on a pass coverage knockdown. Warren Moon threw for only 15 yards in the first half. On a 4th and 2 in the third quarter, Moon to Ernest Gibbons from Louisville, but Everson Walls forces a fumble. Stephen Orr picks it up, and guess what? He just could go all the way with a convoy. Touchdown, Cleveland.
And Chris, this may be a statement on the Houston Oilers season because the only guy who made a real effort to get to the ball was Warren Moon.
Warren today, 12 of 25 for 70 yards. So the commander, Cody Carlson, comes in and tries to find his new lost planet airman. That's Webster Slaughter with a nice catch for a touchdown. Could the Oilers come back? Well, Cleveland needs ground control, and they also need ball control. So they go to the big fellow, Mark Bavaro, 22 yards. So on 3rd and 9, you go to Mark Bavaro, a big first down. So why not go again?
Let's go to Mark Bavaro again. And I think one of the reasons Houston's had so many problems with the tight end, they have none on the roster in the run and shoot.
And they can't practice against them all week, and it shows. Oilers trying to regroup for next week. They lose 24-14 and a good effort in the third straight road game for the Cleveland Browns. Usually an awful spot, but they beat the Oilers 24-14, and each team second place in the AFC Central at 5-4. And I'll tell you what, Houston had better regroup because you know what they are on the road, and guess that's where they are the next 3 weeks. At Minnesota 7-2, at 7-2 Miami, then the short week in Detroit for Thanksgiving. They're not home until Pearl Harbor Day, Monday night against Chicago. And I'll tell you what, Tommy, Houston ought to be ashamed of themselves the way they came out flat today. And when they come back home on Pearl Harbor Day, they may be bombed out of the playoff race. I mean, that was pathetic today.
Well, I think we saw all the vulnerabilities of the run-and-shoot offense. One, you can get a tremendous pass rush on the quarterback because you have no tight ends. You don't have the extra back to block for the quarterback. So even if you don't sack him, you get a chance to hit him quite a bit. People are forcing Warren Moon to be very patient, and then the receivers weigh 125 pounds. So when you hit him, the ball is likely to come loose. And on the other side of the football, Bill Belichick, when he got the Vardells and the Hordes and the Kevin Macks together, people were like, why are you stockpiling these running backs? I think it's showing right now. You run the ball well, and then you play action pass.
That's their type of football, that's for sure. And Bavaro with a big performance, as you said. A nice job by Tomczak. His Kosar is very close to coming back a quarterback for Cleveland. Good job by Miami running the ball today, something they don't normally do. In their last 6 games, for example, they averaged barely over 80 yards a game. Today, with Higgs over the century mark, the Dolphins rushed for 212 yards. I mean, Dan Marino had a 12-yard run, the scrambler that he is. When we return, Chris Dolman, what a year he's had for the Vikings, and Lawrence Taylor, what a career he has had. Pair of 56s. We'll show you what happened.
Presenting Digital Music Express. 30 channels of CD quality music. The music you want to hear when you want to hear it. DMX comes through your TV cable into your tuner and right into your stereo. And you get all 30 channels for a lot less than you ever thought you'd pay for music. If you like music, you're gonna love DMX. Digital Music Express. Just call us today.
Because it's not about words, it's about music. Pure music.
TCI asks, what do you need?
Dude, I need some serious beach.
I have cable, but I need a new TV and VCR.
Play the TCI Totally Tubular Instant Win game, where, by no small coincidence, you could win a fabulous beach vacation via US Air. US Air begins with you.
Cool.
You could win a TV or VCR.
Whoopee!
And you're guaranteed to win free installation of a pay service, plus there's more. So get a game piece in your newspaper or pick one up at your local TCI office while supplies last. And let TCI make your dreams come true.
The puck drops here. National Hockey Night on ESPN. He's the most dangerous scorer in the game today, and he's got the rest of the league singing the blues. Brett Hull leads St. Louis against the Edmonton Oilers Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN National Hockey Night.
All right, let's move to Minnesota, Tampa Bay. This tie, when the Vikings play the Buccaneers, it's an in-your-face tie for these two teams. You know what, Robin? Let's give Dennis Green the nod.
Please.
4 preseason games, 9 regular season games, 13 in all. His Vikings have been ready all 13 times. What a motivator
He has kept them motivated throughout. Yes, an impressive in the early season, also in the preseason, but I tell you what, under Dennis Green, the Vikings lead the NFC Central by 2 games over the Bears. Now, Sam Weish, he had the Bucs fired up early in the season also. Back in week 3, he even had them close to the Vikings before losing by 6. But you know what? Vinny is on the bench now, and the Bucs are on the skids. Dennis Green, though, looking calm as usual. First quarter, Terry Allen goes for 6 yards to the Tampa 34-yard line. 3rd and 1. Tampa expecting the run. Vikes go with the play action. Mike Tice wide open. Gains 17 yards to the Bucs 17-yard line. Then 4 plays later, Roger Craig, he sweeps left. Goes 5 yards for the score. Vikings on the board first. The Vikings opening drive ate more than 7 minutes off the clock, covering 67 yards and 13 plays. Sam Weish trying to rally his troops, but Steve the Bird, watch out, blindsided by Al Noga, and Carlos Jenkins scoops up the ball, goes 22 yards untouched for the touchdown. The Vikes' 3rd defensive touchdown the last 2 games, TJ.
Yeah, you watch at the bottom of the screen here, the right tackle, Rob Taylor, doesn't get the block on Noga, reads it late. Noga nails the Bird from behind, ball pops out, and Jenkins gets an easy touchdown.
Tell you what, that Vikes team make things happen. Second quarter, Terry Allen leads the Vikings downfield. He breaks off the right side, breaks tackles, on his way to a 17-yard gain. Then Allen, hard running. 14 carries, 84 yards. He plows his way to the 11-yard line. Then Rich Gannon hands off to Anthony Carter, who scampers 10 yards for the score. Vikings leading 21-0. The Vikings with the ball control. 9 plays, 80 yards on that drive. Sam Weish looking for some offense, TJ.
Yeah, defense strikes again, and what power and athleticism by Chris Dolman. Should I say stumbling, bumbling, tumbling down?
Do it all.
It's
Vikings
a
at least,
touchdown.
they had 1 interception in the last 9 games at least. Tampa, a little trickery here. The Bird goes for the sidelines, but they snap the ball to Reggie Cobb, but no fooling that Vikings D. Sam Weish says nothing works against these guys. 35-7 is the final. The Vikings have won 6 of their last 7. The Bucs have lost 5 in a row. Roger Craig had a pair of touchdowns. The Vikes lost their shutout late in the game on Gary Anderson's short 4-yard touchdown run. Now, with the Pats win one for the Gipper, or rather, Coach Matt, Patriot cheerleaders are the message for their ailing coach. Dante Scarnecchia hopes Coach Matt gets well soon, too. Jim Mora, maybe he's thinking a little bit about last week. You know, the Saints did hold on to beat the Bucs, but it could have been a lot worse. Quinn Early dropped this perfectly thrown pass from Bobby Hebert. Not this week, though. Quinn Early with a touchdown catch early, 7-0 Saints, and late in the first, Bobby Hebert connects with Quinn Early again, 14-0 Saints, just like that, TJ.
Yeah, and Robin, this is a great confidence builder. Hebert going back to Quinn Early. The play fake looks perfect. The only difference is Quinn Early, great concentration, and notice how he reached out and caught that ball with his hands, didn't let it get to his body.
A 39-yard score, the Pats punting. The Patriots recover deep in New Orleans territory. Then, miracles of miracles. Leonard Russell, an 8-yard touchdown run. Yeah, that's the Patriots' first rushing touchdown of the year. Saints come storming back, using everyone. Hebert, a beauty here, to Eric Martin on the sideline. Then Torrance Small cuts against the grain for another first down. Hebert fakes to Dalton Hilliard. That was effective all day. And then he throws to Hilliard. A 12-yard score. He just simply trots on into the end zone. Hebert, 9 of 12 in the first half, and 3 touchdown tosses. He wasn't done. Second half, Hebert hits Dalton Hilliard. He goes 27 yards down to the 1-yard line. Next play on Dunbar. He punches it in. 28-7 Saints. Skarnecki, and he'd probably like to leave. The Patriots fans do leave. A real L.A. crowd. It's just the end of the third quarter, but they had seen enough. 31-14 the final. The Pats fall to 0-9 on the year with their club record 10 straight losses dating back to last season. 5 consecutive wins now for the Saints. It's been almost 4 years since Bobby Hebert has thrown 3 touchdown passes in a game. You know about the Saints defense. Always been there. One of the best linebacking cores in the league. Morton Anderson, he does his part. The offense, been the missing link. Missing no longer. First 6 games for the Saints, 87 points. The last 3, just about as many, 84. Coming up, one of the payback games. The Cowboys in the Motor City. And the Lions, they took Michael Irvin for a spin. Here's the highlights next.
I was already late for my meeting when my flight landed. Lucky for me, someone left a courtesy call. I had to get the dollar rent-a-car fast. I knew they were right on the airport with low rates.
Welcome to Dollar.
Hello, I have a car rental reservation.
No problem. I'll just punch it up on the computer. Dollar Rent-A-Car is right on the airport, right on the money, with over 1,000 locations around the world. Call your travel consultant or Dollar at 1-800-800-4000.
One of these engines was filled with Castrol Syntec, a new synthetic oil. The rest with conventional oils. They were then drained and started without oil to proof of point. You see, Syntec's unique molecular structure bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. The Dallas Cowboys last week with a huge win over the Philadelphia Eagles. So you figured, you know, they're on the road against a team they should beat. They'd have a big letdown. No way. They were in Detroit, who twice pasted Dallas last year, including once 38-6 in the playoffs. The Lions knew if they were going to spring the upset today, it would be Barry Sanders, who's had trouble running the football this year. But early on, he looked great. 15 yards to the left. And Barry Sanders to the right. My goodness, Tommy actually has blocking. 14-yard pickup.
That blocking provided by Lomas Brown with number 75 as you watch him at the tackle spot. On the left side, he pulls, he gets out in front. Look at him tell Barry, stay back, wait on the block. And then he starts swirling and whirling around. Actually gets 3 blocks for Barry to spring him for a few more yards.
So you might as well sting with Barry Sanders, right? The spin and everything else. What? No. We go to Rodney Peete, and quickly is picked off by Thomas Everett, stopping the Lions' drive. Now, Michael Irvin missed the team play. He didn't start on the first play. He wishes he got there a little later, but Melvin Jenkins spills it for the incompletion. But Sherry Ball in the middle just grabbed Dale Hallistray, the snapper, to create a hole for Mark Spindler. Well, they take off the field goal. Dallas takes the penalty, and it hurt the Lions because Emmitt Smith bounces outside. Touchdown, 7-0. Cowboys.
Yeah, Emmitt Smith starts to his right here, finds the good cutback lane. To his left, that's because of the double team block there on the nose guard, Jerry Ball. He just trots on into the end zone.
Troy Aikman pumped up by watching Emmitt Smith run all year, and he pumps it deep to Alvin Harper, makes the nice sliding grab in front of Jenkins. And Emmitt Smith up and over the top, 14-0 Cowboys. Barry Sanders had 108 yards today, but it was on a day when it would pretty much all go for naught. Trying to go the right side, picked up by his own man, then gang tackled by the swarming new-look doomsday defense. Sanders goes left. Forget it. Dallas has him snuffed up. And then he's face masked, but no call by Darren Woodson. So Barry got his buck 8, but he paid for it. Another special teams penalty on the Lions. Usually things go their way in this building, but Melvin Jenkins tries to slow up. He can't avoid Kelvin Martin. Sets up interference, sets up a field goal, 23 Dallas at the half. Even Elliott kicked field goals today. Aikman, pump fake to Michael Irvin. He caught his plane. He caught this ball. He's marked down at the 1, which sets up the 3rd touchdown for Emmitt Smith. 27-3 Cowboys. Was that my touchdown? It doesn't matter. Emmitt, you got it. You got 67 yards. They got Richards. He had 82 yards running into Emmitt Smith's relief, a rare sight. Rodney Peete, not a rare sight. He got hurt. Caught between Russell Maryland and Tony Tolbert. A pinched nerve and a concussion. Hopefully Rodney all right. Eric Kramer, the hero, twice against Dallas last year. Not this year. Jim Jeffcoat, the veteran, playing well. And this was the Lions fans' look today. Excedrin headache, number 37, as in 37 points for the Dallas Cowboys. The only team in the NFL that's 8-1. Boy, they continue to impress. They're young. They come at you in waves. They don't have an off day. 37-3 as the Lions, last year's champs in the NFC Central, fall to 2-7. The Packers and the Giants at the Meadowlands. And as he did on Sunday night against Washington, Lawrence Taylor leading the Giant defensive charge. First quarter, knocks down the pass by Brett Favre. Same series. He gets a sack on the youngster Favre. With the Giants leading 3-0. Special teams. Ed Reynolds blocks the punt of Paul Orange McJulian. Lewis Tillman picks it up. And that sets up another Favre field goal, 6-0 G-Man.
Yeah, you see on the replay here, right in the middle of your screen, Ed Reynolds comes untouched, gets the easy block, and Tillman makes a nice scoop of the football, Chris.
Now, Tommy, the Packers have taken a 7-6 lead on a touchdown run by Vince Workman. My way back to you, babe. And Chuck Cecil says to Dave Meggett, look at that little Meggett get hit. And then on the next play, the Hoss lays him out.
Yeah, and this is the kind of play that receivers always remember. The ball just hangs a little bit, leaves him off into coverage. And you discuss that with the quarterback when you get back to the huddle.
Chuck Cecil was no beanie on those two shots, that's for sure. Workman trying to keep the Packers' mo running, but the fat bell and the Giants recover. And they strike quickly.
Yeah, you watch the Giants' Stephen Baker here getting down on Terrell Buckley. The only mistake Terrell makes, he never gets his head around to the football. Stephen Baker does, and the catch.
And that leads to a Rodney Hampton 2-yard blast, 13-7 Giants at home at the half. Second half, more defense from LT. Knocks the ball down, but on the play. Watch the replay. The right foot, right there. Ruptured Achilles tendon surgery Tuesday, out for the season. More in a moment, and as Bill Parcells said so eloquently, see Lawrence Taylor maybe leaving the stadium for the last time in a golf cart. Wow, that's a sobering moment. 12 years of brilliance for the Giants. Teammates fired up by the way LT was playing. And this time McJulian throws a pass better than Garrow, but still couldn't complete the pass for Mike Holmgren. Brett Favre trying to fire up the troops in the fourth quarter. And the pass is picked up by Pepper Johnson. Has he carried the ball much there, Mo, Larry, and Curly?
Certainly.
Still driving. Jackie Harris holds on despite the hit by Greggs Jackson. Favre's luck, though, runs out. Oh, don't walk away, Renee. It's Renee Thompson. Makes the move on Favre, and he could go all the way. 69 yards, 20-7, the Giants. 5 turnovers on the day for the Pack. Giants add another score at the end, and they're fired up. And you know what? After a season that could be a disaster, 5-4, the Giants. They beat the Packers by the count of 27-7. And Bill Parcells, of course, working for NBC these days, working a late game up in Buffalo. And these comments as he reflected on the career of LT.
I would have to say without question that Lawrence Taylor is by far the greatest player that I ever coached. And I think when you measure greatness, I think it has to be measured in a player's ability to inspire others, not just what he does himself. And in many cases, you know, I've seen Lawrence over the years just inspire his teammates and, in all honesty, inspire the coaching staff and Bill Parcells in particular with his great play and some of the things that he tried to do to help his team win.
Well, no one would know better, Tommy, what kind of player, what kind of person LT has been in his 12th year. I mean, the good news is that the doctor says the surgery, I mean, he said that shouldn't be the reason that he doesn't come back, but yet he was talking about possibly retiring this year. Talking about a man that innovated that position, LT certainly did, and you know some about that position.
Yeah, we're pretty good friends, and I think what LT did, to reiterate a little bit of what Coach Parcells said, yes, he inspired other players to play up above and lift their game a level. But I think the other thing that measures greatness, at least in my mind, is the consistency, because you'll see linebackers have great games or great seasons, but I think when you look at LT and you think about how good he was and for how long he was good, I think that's the measure of his greatness, and that's why he'll be remembered as I think the greatest outside linebacker to ever play.
And LT, it's interesting to note that as the Giants, I mean, he may not be there at the end of this year or beyond, but as the Giants continue their mild resurgence these days, it was the inspired play of LT the last couple of weeks that helped get them going again on defense. More on that at halftime of our game tonight between the Bengals and the Bears. As we go inside the numbers, Ray must stay. First 6 games, the Giants gave up 25 points a game. The last 3 total, the defense has given up only 24. Ray must stay. Ray must stay. Ray must stay. Should Randall get back, or should Jim McMahon be quarterback? Jimmy Mack had the shot today for the Eagles. He delivered against the Raiders.
Brown, the only color born in September. Warm, big shoulders, brown. Strong, earthy, a color with both feet on the ground. And nobody does brown like Dockers. Shirts. Beware the man who says, "I'll give you the shirt off my back." Chances are it's not a Dockers shirt, and therefore of no great loss to him, nor of any particular gain to you. Nobody does shirts like Dockers.
This week on Speed Week, a Richard Petty special from Level Cross, North Carolina, plus the latest news and highlights from the world of motorsports. Speed Week, Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern.
You've got the need for Speed Week. Say, forget the election news this past week in Philadelphia. Nobody could care less, or very few could, I should say, because the headlines all over town was the quarterback controversy involving the Philadelphia Eagles and Rich Kotite's decision to go with Jim McMahon over Randall Cunningham for just 1 week at home today against the Raiders. Raiders' first possession. Todd Marinovich picked off by Eric Allen. So, with Randall Cunningham watching, Jim McMahon steps into the breach. Some confusion as Anton Davis so excited to give McMahon a good block that he goes off about 5 yards too early. A screen to keep Byers lose the yard. Howie Long sacks Jimmy Mack. Would Jimmy Mack last? Well, hey, not that good, huh, Randall? But even less impressive was Todd Marinovich. I mean, where's this pass? Wes Hopkins makes the pick. Second quarter, still McMahon struggling, leading 3-0 in 3rd and 11. He is sacked by Greg Townsend. But Jeff Philadelphia Eagles rolls out on the fake field goal. But no, they come up empty, but no. The Raiders with a penalty.
Yeah, stupid play by Andre Bruce here. He took 2-3 steps into the punter, the Eagles. And that's going to draw the flag every time.
And after the flag, Herschel into the end zone, a 1-yard run, 10-0 the Eagles. And there's Jimmy Mack and Herschel saying this could be our day. Todd Marinovich tries to rally the Raiders, but John, shake your booty.
Good throw.
Oh, real nice. Marinovich, well, he's bummed. Mooney and the Eagles, they feasted on Marinovich's passes. Raiders second worst in football, turning the ball over, going into the game. So Art Shell made a switch. In comes Jay Schrader. His first pass, and all of a sudden the Raider offense has a new look. Zip to Tim Brown for 17. Then after a short run by Eric Dickerson, Jay Schrader, that tempo line, scrambles for 6. Next play, the guy who is pretty nimble, Marcus, the high socks and all. Like the old days, 20 yards for Marcus, deep into Philadelphia territory. 2 plays later, Schrader. Alexander Wright. No, sir. The Raiders do get a field goal. So the score 10-3. Schrader says, come on, we can get in this thing. Rich Kotite looking across the field. Wondering if Jimmy Mack can get it going. And they tried trickery, Tommy.
Yeah, we watched a series of plays here designed to do a certain thing. This first one is not designed to lose 14 yards, but Barnett gets caught inside to contain. But you watch Jimmy Mack here go back, step up nicely into the pocket.
42 yards.
Delivers the ball to Barnett. Now, what we're going to see here on the replay, you look in the box there in the middle of the field, there's nobody covering. Now we take a shot of it from the back of the defense. The corner thinks he's going to run the square, and right there he bites on it. Barnett takes him downfield. No help deep. how you get touchdowns.
17-3, Jimmy Mack with the visor, and Randall. Everybody excited. Philadelphia finally looking good. Randall Cunningham watches as Heath Bar Sherman takes the handoff. 30-yard touchdown, the Eagles. 24-3, Philly.
Yeah, McMahon does a nice fake of the pitch right there, draws the defense outside. Heath Sherman spots a good cutback lane, breaks through the defense. The safeties are bitten up. One other person to run by Washington as he goes into the end zone.
Rich Kotite, Randall Cunningham, shaking hands. Eagles all over the Raiders, 31-10. Jimmy Mack, now 61-28 lifetime as a starter, 9-3 as a starter for Philadelphia. The Eagles beat the Raiders 31-10 afterwards. Obviously, the topic for discussion in the locker room, the quarterback situation. Jimmy Mack says he's not concerned.
I'm not worried about whether I want a job or not. You know, I'm here on this team. I'm part of the team, and you know, I can't worry about what things I don't control. You know, I don't make those decisions, and when I get my opportunities, I want to make the best of them.
Who knows? I could have went out and thrown for 10 touchdowns, but nobody will ever know. But he has to do what he thinks is right, and I'm going to back him up because that's just my nature. You know, whatever the coach decides is what I got to go with. Jim did a good job. If Richie wants to start him, that's his. But I don't want to go in the game and then turn around, look over my shoulder, and hear that he's coming in. I mean, if I'm the quarterback, allow me to be the quarterback. But if Jim's going to start this week, let us know up front.
Now, I'm going to answer it one time, Al, okay? I asked it 45 times. Cunningham's playing next week, all right? Next question.
Short and sweet. Usually what Denver is at home to their opponents. They were 4-0 at Mile High going into their game with the New York Jets. Elway, Nagel, Kenny O'Brien talking about throwing that pigskin. Nagel misreads the play, throws behind Altoon. Then Browning Nagel, the youngster, back into the fray after a week off. Try that dim range. Then Nagel off the wrong foot. Underthrows Johnny Mitchell. John Elway's turn. Shotgun much of the first half. Early on, John was a little high and wide, overthrows Vance Johnson. Then off the fake, looking for Mark Jackson. No, so can the Broncos run the ball?
Well, they didn't even try to run the ball early, Chris. I think that's the point. They came out committed to passing the football today.
So what's wrong, John? Well, I'll tell you what. Not much from deep in his own end. The frozen rope to Arthur Marshall. 80 yards, just like that. Elway strikes 10-3. The touchdown dance for Marshall, his first career TD. Now Consul's team has added a field goal, 10-6. And Nagel comes out in favor of Ken O'Brien for the 2-minute drill. The pass off the hands of Freeman McNeil into the hands of Wyman Henderson. And he just could go all the way. Nice cutback into the end zone. Key play here in the final 2 minutes. Well, usually it's Elway doing the job. This time the defense does the job. 17-6 Broncos. Nagel. Play fake. And Rob Moore, 25-yard touchdown. It's 20-13. Nice concentration right in front of the goalpost. Then Nagel to Freeman McNeil. Freeman looked good last week, but today, boy, he really hurt him. Recovered by Lilo Lang. Elway back to work. To Marshall across the middle. A catch and carry. 24 yards. Sets up, oh my goodness, a run?
Yeah,
Greg Lewis.
Yes, and as you watch Greg Lewis here, he stopped, he stuffed. Watch the surge by the offensive line, and there he is underneath it, right there. The ball has crossed the plane.
Pete Carroll's young Chargers looked good last week against Miami. Winning at Mile High Stadium against the Broncos is another story altogether. The Broncos continue to be the pace setters of the AFC West at 6-3. They beat the Jets by the count of 27-16. But Tommy, obviously, let's go back now to the Philadelphia game against the Raiders. How do you think Jim McMahon did today?
Probably good enough to start if you had that decision to make.
Well, you don't have that decision. Rich Kotite did make the decision to start Randall next week, keeping his word. Good move or what?
Well, I think that when I spoke with the Eagles this week, Coach Kotite says no matter what happens, I'm going to start Randall against Green Bay, and I think he has to do that in order to keep his word. But I think that when he said, I want to take some pressure off of Randall, let him sit back for a week so that he feels more comfortable when he comes back into play, you may accomplish just the opposite thing, because now when Randall comes into the Green Bay game, everyone, including his Philadelphia teammates, will be measuring his performance against Jim McMahon's performance, and I think that relates into more pressure.
But if Randall comes through big, Kotite's already won the first half of his gamble. As we said on game day this morning, he had the guts to make the decision to jumpstart this team, which was in bad need of one. And now, if they get going under Randall and rolling again, they're back into the fray, because as we all know, although Dallas looks good, It's open territory to get to the Super Bowl. Part 1, a win for Kotite. We shall see. I admire the move that he made. Mistakes, mistakes. Well, the easiest stat in football. When you turn the ball over, son, you're going to be a loser. Look at what the Raiders have done in the 6 games they've lost. They've turned it over 21 times. They've been sacked 22 times. When we return, over and the Redskins in the Kingdome against the Seahawks. Stay with us.
For years, Jaguar has been a force to be reckoned with in international motor racing. The spirit of these racing Jaguars is embodied in our 1993 XJS. You may never experience the thrill of driving a Jaguar on the racetrack, but remember, in the real world, there are no legal limits on how fast your Pulse can race. For the name of your nearest Jaguar dealer, call toll-free.
If you're not familiar with the Nokia 101 cellular phone from Finland, we'd like to break the ice. Nokia is the second largest manufacturer of cellular phones in the world and second largest supplier to the U.S. To see Nokia's breakthrough cellular technology for yourself, go to your nearest dealer and get your hands on a Nokia 101 from Finland. Nokia. It's good to be well connected.
It's great. They fixed up that old truck and went out for their big driving lesson. You know, they'll never forget this day as long as they live.
Here's to fathers and sons, first-time driving lessons and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
All-Pro quarterback, Dan Marino. When the game is over and the pain starts, I want fast relief and no odor. So I use Sports Cream, a strong pain-relieving rub that doesn't make me smell like a medicine chest. Sports Cream, fast relief and no odor.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. 9 years ago, Robin, Tom Flores was the last AFC coach to win a Super Bowl. It was with the Raiders and the up end of the Redskins. Now he was coaching the Seahawks against the Redskins. And not going with the same arsenal.
No, he had a little offense back then. You know, how bad was the Seahawks offense going into today's game with Washington? Well, Rick Tootin had more punts, 58, than the Seahawks had points, only 53. But Washington much better when they had the ball. They have not scored a touchdown, an offensive touchdown, 11 straight quarters. Joe Gibbs' team looking for that elusive offensive touchdown. First half, all defense. Stan Gelbaugh's pass tipped and intercepted by Wilbur Marshall. Redskins ball, second play of the drive. Griffin picked off by Dwayne Harper. Seahawks get it right back. Second play of the drive. Stan Gelbaugh drops back. He's pressured by Marshall. He causes the fumble, and John Brantley recovers for Washington. But 3rd and 4, Griffin rolls out, going deep for Ricky Sanders, incomplete. Griffin in the first half only 9 of 14, 85 yards and 1 pick. Game tied at 3 at the half. Third quarter, 6-3 Washington. Griffin blitz, but finds Terry Orr, who goes 46 yards. He only had 3 receptions, but they went for big yardage. Then Rippon goes for the end zone. And he's almost picked off by Eugene Robinson, TJ.
Yeah, and this is where an offensive player turns into a defensive player. Should have been picked off. Gary Clark goes up and makes the nice defensive play right there to prevent the interception.
Yeah, thank goodness for Chip Lowmiller. He came on with another field goal. 9-3 Washington in the fourth. 14 quarters without a touchdown. Ernest Biner goes up the middle for 12 yards. Then Rippon to Terry Orr, who breaks the tackle, and he just tumbles into the end zone. 24 yards. Thanks to touchdown gods. 3 receptions, 82 yards for Terry Orr. 16-3 is the final. The Seahawks' 6th straight loss, the worst start in the franchise's 17-year history. Now for that update, Rick Tootin, he's punted 63 times. Seahawks have scored just 56 points. Now for the battle of the last place teams, the Cards and the LA Rams. Joe Bugle trying to find a way to snap the Cards' 10-game road losing streak. Cards scored first on a field goal, but in the second quarter, Jim Everett, his pass to Henry Eller, 33 yards for the touchdown. Eller's first touchdown catch of the season. Take another look, TJ.
Yeah, you watch the zone defense right here to the left. It opens up, and Eller gets right what we call in the seam.
Third quarter, 7-6 Rams. Cleveland Gary gets hit by Eric Hill and fumbles. Ken Harvey recovers for the Cards. And then Johnny Johnson, he goes right for the touchdown from 6 yards out. 13-7 Cards. Chuck Knox, he's seen happier days. Fourth quarter, Gary redeems himself for the fumble. Up the middle, just barely crosses the goal line for the touchdown. 14-3, Rams on top. But Gary takes a shot from Ken Harvey, fumbles the ball. Aeneas Williams returns the ball for the apparent touchdown. A penalty will nullify the touchdown. It's still the Cards' ball. 2:09 left in the game. Johnny Johnson, 10 yards for the touchdown. 20-14 Cards. And the Rams driving. 54 seconds. Jim Everett to Cleveland Gary. 14 yards to the 37-yard line. 12 ticks left. Jock Jones, I kid you not, Jock Jones intercepts Jim Everett on the 9-yard line. And that would be it. Jock Jones, Joe Bugle, gone with your bad self. Cards win by a final of 20-14. So the Cardinals do snap their 10-game road losing streak. They vault to 3-6 on the year. Same record for the Rams. Are on a roll, if you will, beginning with 100-yard rushers. Heading our list, Thermal. That's right, Thurman Thomas. Big game. 37 carries, a lot of work. 155 yards and that one touchdown. Speaking of Thurman, how about that major AFC tilt? The Steelers and the Bills. Boomer has the highlights.
TCI asks, what do you need?
Dude, I need some serious beach.
I have cable, but I need a new TV and VCR.
Play the TCI Totally Tubular Instant Win game, where, by no small coincidence, you could win a fabulous beach vacation via US Air. US Air begins with you.
Cool.
You could win a TV or VCR.
Whoopee!
And you're guaranteed to win free installation of a pay service, plus there's more. So get a game piece in your newspaper or pick one up at your local TCI office while supplies last. And let TCI make your dreams come true.
Bob Mullen began Mullen Refrigeration Service in 1959, and because Carrier has always been the world's best-selling brand, he chose to handle Carrier products. Today, Mullen Refrigeration continues to handle Carrier products, from all lines of Carrier air conditioning and heat pumps to Carrier's Best Infinity furnace. Mullen technicians are certified by the Refrigeration Service Engineering Society for heat pump service and installation. For a free estimate on a Carrier heating or cooling system for your home or business, call Mullen Refrigeration in Latrobe.
Bone needs leather with instantaneous velocity. The laws of force are set in rotation with constant acceleration equals the torque acting on total energy plus potential energy causes rotational kinematics and constant acceleration of rigid and free-falling bodies.
Alabama's undefeated Crimson Tide fights to keep their national title hopes alive when they hunt down Mississippi State Saturday.
College football on ESPN in a class by itself.
And welcome back to Primetime with the Boomer of Me. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. With all due respect to the Miami Dolphins, who now are 7-2 and own as good a mark in the AFC as anybody, the winner of the Pittsburgh at Buffalo game today could own inside track on home field advantage in the AFC playoffs. Pittsburgh's been great. Let's face it, the Buffalo Bills been to the Super Bowl last 2 years, said to the Steelers, not so fast, because the game was at Rich Stadium. Bill Cowher trying to settle his team down. A huge game. And Barry Foster, first game, first carry.
You know, Barry Foster's had some problems in the past fumbling the ball. He fumbles this one on the first play of the game, but he got it back. You see Barry Foster again heading in there, and Bruce Smith led a Buffalo charge. No game.
The Bills have felt that their run defense has improved. They're waiting for the offense to improve. And Jim Kelly throwing as well as he had in over a month. Fires went out to Don Beebe. Fires one to Thermal Thomas. Then, the bomb to James Lofton. Wide open, 22 yards, touchdown. Jimbo said, hey, fans, get off our back. 7-0 Bills. Steelers try to come right back. Neil O'Donnell to Barry Foster. Slips away for a nice gain before he's wrestled down. Now, the Steelers have two nice tight ends. The large guy, Eric Green, makes the nice catch with Matt Darby. Not Darby the dinosaur. All over him down at the 10. Then Barry Foster with a halfback pass. Broken up by Kelso at the last moment. The Steelers settle for a Gary Anderson field goal. Bill Cowher talking to the defense himself. Kenneth Davis in to give Thermal a brief spell. It's up about. But Kent Hold, the center, recovers for the Bills a big play. Next play. Kelly Looking at Don Beebe. Last year, this combination ate the Steelers alive. Oh, but Beebe can't hold on. Looks like Beebe Rebozo. Kelly again, though, says, Don, I like you. He catches it, holds on despite the hit from Darren Perry. Then, for the second time this year, that famed passing duo of Kelly to Mitch Florat. Touchdown, 14-3, Buffalo. 21-3 Bills end of the first half. Kelly looking for more at the bubble. Marty Nickerson recovers for the Steelers. This could have turned the tide. As after one completion, they get an Anderson field goal at the gun. It's 21-6 at the half. Ron Earhart, the architect of the Steeler offense, trying to change things around. O'Donnell, Gurney Mills, 12 yards, touchdown. Steelers in business, 21-13. But Thurman Thomas, following the block by Will Wolford and company. He's never carried the ball 37 times. 155 yards for Thermal. Dick LeBeau says, no, you know what? Even though Thermal's running, we got to play pass defense. Dick, you're right. Lofton, wide open again on the same pattern, 46-yard touchdown. Kelly, 26 of 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Bills beat the game Steelers 28-20. They battled back, as is their wont. But 458 yards for the Bills offense said September is back. And Buffalo got out of their month-long doldrums, up their mark to 7-2, put the Steelers back to 6-3. Offense looks stellar. They haven't for a month. Meanwhile, you talk defense. What about the Lightning Bolts and the Chiefs? Bill Arnsparger and the San Diego defense, the best in the AFC. But a guy named Derek Thomas plays pretty good defense for the Kansas City Chiefs. Knocks the ball, goes to the outside. Humphries loses the football.
Yeah, tough first half here for Swain. You see Thomas go outside to register his second sack. Then he just uses the pure speed right there. And that's his best rush, I think, the pure speed. He's just quicker than every offensive tackle he's going to face in this league.
He goes around the right side, gets Humphries again. Tommy, his arm moving, another fumble under Griffin, recovers 4 sacks first half for Derek Thomas. First half alone, 4 sacks. KC leading 3-0 in the second quarter, 4th and 1. The ball in the 6, you give it to Koya. No, it's the play action for David Craig. He's going to keep it himself a dive for the first down. That sets up the Nigerian Nightmare. Touchdown, 10-0, Kansas City. Marty Schottenheimer finally smiling. Team has struggled lately. Meanwhile, the Chargers in the second quarter, Stan Humphries to Nate Lewis. It's a touchdown. What? There's a flag on the play. Just one of those first half yeet for Stan Humphries, the AFC Offensive Player of the Month. Bobby Ross says, you know what? He's come back before. And in the third quarter, you watch Humphries hits Derek Walker, 14 yards, and just like that, the Chargers in the game at 13-7. Humphries to Sean Jefferson. Nice bomb. 51 yards. Remember that smile? No, not there anymore for Marty. Beginning of the fourth quarter, save drive. Humphries to ex-Buffalo Bill Ronnie Harmon down to the 1-yard line. That sets up Marion Butt. It's a 1-yard plunge. 14-3, San Diego, 13.5 to go. What a comeback for San Diego. But the Chiefs, 2:06 to go on the clock. Willie Davis catches the Craig pass to the 25-yard line. That sets up for the 300th time in his career. Nick Lowry, a field goal, 36 yards. And the Chiefs lead 16-14. Dale Carter picked off a pass after the Chargers got the football after the ensuing kickoff. And Kansas City going to 5-4. San Diego falls to 4-5. The Chiefs sweep the Chargers. Neither win, though, was easy. We'll be back.
I was already late for my meeting when my flight landed. Lucky for me, someone left a courtesy car. I had to get the dollar rent-a-car fast. I knew they were right on the airport with low rates.
Welcome to Dollar.
Hello, I have a car rental reservation.
No problem. I'll just punch it up on the computer. Dollar Rent-A-Car is right on the airport, right on the money, with unlimited mileage and locations worldwide. Call your travel consultant or Dollar at 1-800-800-4000.
At BASF, we don't make the meal, we make it healthier. We don't make the lotion, we make it smoother. We don't make the dress, we make it brighter. We don't make the carpet, we make it tougher. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
When your batteries are performing, you're on top of the world. But you never know when they're about to take a fall. Only Duracell has the Copper Top Battery Tester, so you can be sure your batteries will be riding high. You can't top the Copper Top.
Week 10, some big games, some primetime players.
Here comes Fletcher. The bird. Shuffle back. Hit. Takes off. Intercept from the 30.
Incredible.
Over to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Minnesota.
Kenneth Davis. Now a pass. Tight end good. It is good there to Mitch Perrott. Mitch Perrott, the tight end pass. And a beautiful fake to Davis. And the play was there. It always is.
Oh, it's a direct snap to Gary Anderson to the 3-2-1. He has a Tampa Bay touchdown.
Gives to Higgs, and Higgs slides to the outside, bounces off Pickett, and goes into the end zone. He looked like a pinball as he bounced off Pickett to the right, cut back to the left, and dove into the end zone.
He backpedals, he looks, he steps up, he's going deep for Barnett, who raises, has a touchdown, Barnett! Right from McMahon to Arkansas, Fred.
ESPN is your season ticket to the greatest NFL action anywhere. You're guaranteed the best seat in the house for the season's most exciting matchups from coast to coast. And you'll get the inside story before and after the game. NFL action in your face every week on ESPN. If you miss it, you lose. Brought to you locally by Stroh's. It's not just any beer, it's Stroh's.
Right now at the appliance store, you'll find great big savings of 5 to 40% on everything in the store for a limited time only. Only at the appliance store. Good people, great value.
This year, more than 2 million high school students will receive something very important. The opportunity to become a United States Marine. Don't throw your education away. For more information, call now.
We've been eating your dust for a long time.
Yeah, and I'm not done yet. I got one more race left in me.
Okay, King. I'll see you at the Hooters 500.
Sunday afternoon, November 15th, live on ESPN.
NFL Primetime has been brought to you by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does colors like Dockers. And by Nokia Mobile Phones, supplying cellular phones to the world.
Thanks for watching this edition of NFL Primetime. We're all revved up because we've got Sunday Night Football from here to the end of the regular season on ESPN. Next Sunday's game becomes intriguing. 6-3 Denver against the 5-4 G-Men. That's next Sunday from Mile High Stadium. I'd like to remind you that our Monday Night Football coverage on the 7 and the 11:30 Sports Center. Hey, I'll be in Atlanta. Atlanta and the Niners on Monday. I can't wait for that. Had fun. For Tom Jackson, Robin Roberts, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Primetime.